Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, this is the second lecture of the knowledge codification. We discussed in the last video what is knowledge codification all about, and today we talk about the knowledge codification tools, and specifically we talk about knowledge map. Okay, so what is a knowledge map? It's a knowledge codification tool, but what is it all about? So we know in tacit knowledge capture, it is said that you can't verbalize unless you visualize. Okay, so this is one of the way to codify knowledge is to visualize it via knowledge map. So it's not the knowledge, but it's actually the visualization of the knowledge uh, in the form of a map. Okay, so what is knowledge map? It's actually a visual representation. It's not a repository. We need to understand that it's not a repository. It's a visual representation. Okay, um, it's a directory. Okay, it's a directory, and in this directory there is not the knowledge itself. There is no tacit knowledge itself there, but rather it points to the location where that knowledge is. So this directory actually is it's not a repository of knowledge. It is a repository, but it's a repository of links which actually tells where the knowledge is. Okay, so what is it? It's a repository. Okay, it's not a repository of knowledge, but it is a directory which points to the knowledge. Okay, it could be the people who have the tacit knowledge, the experts. It could point to the documents where the knowledge resides, or it could point to the experts where the tacit knowledge, who the tacit knowledge has, the people with the tacit knowledge, or it could point to the repositories where you can get that explicit knowledge and all. So knowledge map can represent explicit or tacit, formal or informal, documented or undocumented, internal or external knowledge, everything. But it doesn't contain it. Okay, it points to where the knowledge is. So in terms of tacit knowledge, for example, what it does, codification effort is generally limited to locating that person with the knowledge. Okay, it's point to it points the seeker to that person, to that expert which has the knowledge. So knowledge map actually helps you. It's like a knowledge highway which helps you to locate the knowledge. It helps you to guide. Okay, it also identifies strengths to exploit missing knowledge gaps. So it can be applied in a knowledge capture, a straightforward directory that actually points to people to where they can find certain expertise, capture both explicit tacit knowledge in documents and in expert's head. Now, how knowledge map works? We got five key elements. So we got five key elements that work together to ensure the knowledge map experience. The map itself depicts visually the issue, business issue, or a problem at hand. It's designed to be fun, easy to follow, okay, engaging, and clearly reflecting the material to be covered. So we need a map which clearly reflects the problem. Okay, it's engaging and it's easy to read and easily accessible and fun way to find, actually to get that explicit or implicit knowledge. Now, the pace of the group's collaborative discussions has to be guided by the questions, which can then create a shared knowledge. Okay, this process allows each employee to find out how the process or the problem applies to him or her and what the employee should be doing differently. Okay, facts are presented to the group to focus on the realities of the problem. Okay, they often come up with the same conclusion that senior leaders do. Now, the nature of the collaborative discussion among peers should be an open and trusting environment facilitated by the coach. Okay, otherwise, knowledge map will not work. And finally, the post session follow up activities are reviewed and conclusions are drawn. To build a knowledge map, you first need to have a relationship among departments. Okay, you know what departments you have, like labor market, human resource, marketing, research and development, production planning. And when I see all these departments, and we know what knowledge is relevant to that department, and the experts, the repositories, the directories which has the knowledge pertaining to these departments, then we can build a knowledge map. Okay, so this is the build cycle. Once where knowledge resides is known, so you understand where the knowledge is. So it's what you need to build now. You need to build a map which points to it and add instructions on how to get there. And you need an intranet, okay, is a medium for publishing knowledge maps. So what's the main criteria? Clarity of purpose, ease of use, accuracy, and currency of content. So what does that mean? That you need to accurately point out where the knowledge resides, and you need to get it exactly. And this can be done easily by the knowledge map when we know the relationship between the departments of your company, and then we know what where the knowledge, which part of the knowledge, what the problem you have right now. For example, you have some problem in some word document, for example, and which person to ask for the help and where to get the help, okay, to fix that problem, can be done by the knowledge map. For example, we'll discuss some examples. You understand that. Say for an example, you have an issue with the tab key of your you are writing in a word pad, and you have an issue with the tab key. Okay, instead of 5 normal spaces, it's giving you 10 normal spaces. Okay, so you can have a knowledge map where you press a help key, okay, of your company, the console, and the problem will be asked by the console, and you enter the tab problem. The response comes up from the knowledge map that call Junaid at this number 124242, whatever the number is. Okay, so now this knowledge map will exactly help you to solve the problem, but it doesn't give the solution. It points to the person who can solve you. Okay, now Junaid happened to be the word specialist in department. Maybe he's the faculty at the IT license, and he is the guy who will actually fix your problem. So knowledge map will point to that person, right? Okay, let's take up the another example in the knowledge management, where we will use the knowledge map in the human resource area is the skill planner. Okay, what is the goal in it? Its to goal is to match employee. You got employees, and you want to see what jobs you can give to that employee. Okay, this can be done by building a map. Okay, and the building the map requires 4 steps. The first step is for building the knowledge map is we need to develop a structure of knowledge requirement. What does that mean is, for example, the requirement can be 1 year of experience in, say, teller operations for basic knowledge, and 5 years of experience in teller operations plus 2 years of Excel, maybe 2 years of Excel for junior officers position, and so on and so forth. So we can have some experiences and some skill sets, so that we can ascertain that this employee is fit for that particular job or not. Okay, then we need to have a second step. Now second step is to define the knowledge required of specific job. That means we're talking about the specific job. For example, what can be required is 3 years of, say for example, say 3 years of cost accounting, uh, in retailing and a minimum of 1 year of supervisory experience for entry level management. So we need to have these second step where we do the specific jobs. So we are talking about now, say for example, the uh, cost accounting in retailing, 3 years in that, and a minimum of 1 year of supervisory experience. So that is called as the define the knowledge required for a specific job. And the third step, the building step, is that you are gauging the employees their performance by knowledge competency. Then the fourth step, you are linking knowledge map to a training program for career development and job advancement. Now, with this in mind, a knowledge map may be set up as a four-tier knowledge structure to evaluate employee competency and identify within the structure tacit and explicit knowledge for each competency. Okay, let's discuss this on a next slide. Basically, if you also talk about this in more detail, that this one is the basic knowledge. Okay, uh, where we develop the structure of the knowledge requirement. Second one is this more specific knowledge to a particular job. Then third one is the department wise competence. And the fourth one actually is the company wise competence. What does that mean? We go to the next slide. Now this is that four tier knowledge structure. As you say, the first level, as for the local level, is the basic level knowledge competency, which tells us that each and every employee should have a ability to send email as a part of the job. So everybody should have this basic level knowledge. Now, next level, or the second tier, is working knowledge competency, where you talk about specific job. For example, you are a loan officer, so you need to you should be able to decide whether to approve loan or not. Then next higher level comes the department or division level competency. For example, this applies to all the employees within a functional department. Now, within a department, if you are a loan employer, you're a loan officer, you only talk about the loan. But if you are, say, some other, for say, the insurance officer, that may have different skills. Okay. Now, here, uh, for the department or division level competency, all employees should have these basic competencies. For example, every employee in the IT department should be well versed in computer technology. And the last level and the higher level, the fourth tier, is company-wide knowledge that all employees, for example, should know the company policies and business practices. Okay. Now, the resulting knowledge map, which is this four-tier stuff, okay, is loaded in the computer-based environment, where a manager building a, for example, manager is building a new team, okay, and he want to assign a particular job to the particular employee. Now, manager may ask the database to select all candidates with advanced skills above 90% of knowledge competence for job is equal to senior analyst and location equals to Srinagar uh, or Pulwama. Okay, then the system will go to the knowledge repository because knowledge map will actually tell you where the knowledge is. So go to the knowledge repository where the company's intranet and lists on a screen in a matter of seconds those who meet the criteria. Right? So what I'm technically telling you is like this. New slide. Now this is the manager. Okay, he want to select some team to do particular for particular job. Now he will go to the database. Okay, he will talk with the database that this is for the database, and he will query the database that select all the candidates, select all candidates with advanced skills above 90%. Okay, of the knowledge competency for job equals to senior analyst and location equals to, say for example, Srinagar and Pulwama. Okay, now the system, because your knowledge map is actually the directory which will link to the actual repository where the knowledge is. Okay, so your system go to the knowledge repository. So it will go to the knowledge repository, your system, to fetch knowledge from there. And this will be done using the company's intranet. Okay, via the intranet, you can connect with the knowledge repository, and from knowledge repository actually, uh, all those in few seconds, all those who meet the criteria will be flashed on the screen. Okay, all those names. Okay, that's all for today, and we discuss next the decision tables that we do in the next video. So stay tuned for next video in this series.